Hello everybody, welcome back to another tutorial. In today's tutorial we're going to be cutting and sewing. Hello everybody, welcome back to another tutorial. In today's tutorial we're going to cut and sew this band. So if this is something you wanted to create, keep on watching. So first of all, I went ahead to fold my fabric just like this, you can see, into two. Let me check again. This is the wrong side. I fold my fabric into two, just the way you can see it right there. And I want to make sure that what I have folded should be 1/4 of the hip plus some 3 extra inches that I'll be adding to. Sorry about that. So, like I said, I make sure that I fold my fabric into two. What I have folded should be 1/4 of the hip. This is 1/4 of my hip. Then I'm going to go ahead and add the crush, also the extra inch for the crush extension. Then I'll also go ahead and add some allowance to it. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is to go ahead and draw a straight line right up there like this, and take note that I've washed this fabric. Okay, I wash it before working on it because it's actually a cotton fabric, so you need to wash it up before. It's advisable, but if you don't want to wash yours, it's okay. So I've just drawn a straight line. This is going to be the guide line, okay, and the waistline at the same time. Now, after drawing that straight line, the next thing I'm going to do is to go ahead and mark from the waist to the hip depth. How do you know your hip depth measurement? So actually, to be able to mark from the waist to the hip depth, the formula is my round hip minus my round waist. So for example, my round hip is 38. If I minus 30 to it, yeah, that's my round waist, I'll be left, is it now? My round hip is 39, so it's not 30, it's 39. All right, minus 30 inch, I'll be left with 9 inch. All right, so my round the total from here to here, the hip depth is going to be 9 inch. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and mark that 9 inch. All right, so now I'll be using my waistband of 2 inch, so I'll make sure I minus this 2 inch from my waist to hip depth. So I'm going to place it up like this. Can you see that? Now I'll just go ahead and mark where that 9 inch is. I will mark that up right there. Okay, so that is the waist to hip depth line. Now I am going to go ahead and mark from my waist to my crush depth line. How do you know the waist to the crush depth line? Is by taking the round hip divided by 4. All right, then you can add 1.5 inch or even 2 inch to it. Remember, my tape is still being placed like this. So assuming my round hip is 39, divide it by 2, just the way you can see me doing here. I'll divide it by 2. All right, 39 divided by 2. I'll just fold it over like this. Then I'll go ahead again and fold it again like this into 2. Whatever I have, that is going to be my crush depth. Then I'll add my extra inches to it. So this is what I have. What I have here is 9.075. Remember, I'm still going to go ahead and place it up like this from that 2 inch, 9.075, which is right there. Then I'll go ahead now to add 1 inch to it. So 9.075 here is going to give me 9.075 plus 1 inch, yeah, 10 point, yeah. So I'm going to go ahead, I'll be adding 1.5 inch instead of that point. So I'll first of all mark down my 9.025, which is right there. Then I'll go ahead now and count. This is 1 inch, okay. Then I'll add again, making it 11.075, yeah. Making it 11.075. This is 1 inch. 9.05 to here, 1 inch. Yeah, plus it's no, yeah. If I'm not mistaken? So 9.075, which is right there, plus my 1 inch, which is here. Then again here, yeah. That's it. Now I'll still keep my tape like this. I will go ahead and mark the length of my pants. The length that I'm working with is 38 inch, but I will round it up to 40 inch, okay. Now we have the full length right there. Remember, we have the full length, which is 40 inch. To get the knee line is we are going to take that 40 inch, divide it into 2. So my knee line is going to be 40 inch. Remember, 40 inch. I will just go ahead the full length. Remember, I minus 2 inch. I added 2 inch for the hemming allowance. Naturally, my length is 38, okay. It's 38. So if I go ahead to minus this to divide this 40 inch into 2, I'll have 20 inch. But like I said, my full length is 38, not 28. So I'll just go ahead from that 20 in. I'll go ahead, I'll just go up by 1 inch instead of going up by 2 inch. But I'll make sure I go up by 1 inch. Remember, full length, how do you get the knee line? Is by taking the full length divided by 2, okay, divided by 2. So I went up by divided by 2. My full length is being included with this hemming allowance. So I will actually take my full length without the hemming allowance, divide it into 2, whatever I have. I will just mark that up there. I hope that part is clear. So I'm going to go ahead and connect these points up like this with straight lines. And I'm going to come here and do the same thing, straight line. And I'll come here and straight line. This is a fabric I've been having now for a very long time, so I decided to use it. Okay, straight line. And I'll also come here to the line. I will connect my straight line. Now that we are done connecting those straight lines, remember this pan is going to be having an elastic, okay. If you want to add a zipper, it's fine by you, but I'm going to be using an elastic to it. So if I'm using an elastic and my round hip is elastic pan, you will normally need to use your round hip when you are cutting on the fabric. But when you are putting an elastic, that is where you go ahead and use your round waist. So my round hip is 39. I will fold it again into 2 like this. It's going to give me 19.5, and I'm going to go ahead and fold it again into 2 like this. I fold it again to I will get 9.075. I will come on the waistline. I'm going to mark that's 9.075. Remember, I have not added my allowance to it, so I'll be adding 1 inch to it. Yeah, 1 inch is good to go. So I'll just go ahead and add up my 1 inch right there. So 9.075 plus 1 inch, 9.075, yeah, plus 1 inch is actually going to give me 10. Alright, so this is, yeah, almost 11 inch. So I'm going to come here and repeat the same thing. I'll take my time, 9.075 and mark, then I add my 1 inch now, okay. So after doing so, what I'm going to do is to go ahead now. I'll just rule this line all the way to meet the crush depth line as well. And you make sure if your pattern, if the fabric you're working on has some design on it, you make sure you follow the line so that by the time you sew everything, is going to match it up. As you can see, my design, this my lines here, the design just moved a little bit, so I had to go ahead and I rearrange them up. So now that we have connected it all the way to the crush depth line, and this is the hip depth line, don't forget, the next thing I'm going to do right now is to get the hip, the crush extension. How do we get our crush extension? That we're going to do. You're going to go ahead, take the round hip, for round hip divided by 16 to get the crush extension, or you take the round hip divided by 4, then you go ahead and divide it into 2. But the best way for you to get your crush extension right there is to take the round hip divided by 16. So I will take my round hip, which is 39 divided by 16. I will have 2.43. 2.43. So I'm going to round it up. Let me just say 2.50. All right, so easily saying that, I can just go ahead to mark this point here. So I'm going to go ahead now and just mark it up right there like this. Now that I am done marking this point, the next thing I'm going to do is to come up here like this. I'm going to go up by 2.5, by 2.5 right there. Now I'll have to connect these points up to meet up this point. But before I go ahead to connect it to meet up this point, I want to come here like this. Remember, this is an elastic, so it has no dart, okay? So I'm going to come here like this. I will go in by, let's just say I'm going to go in by 3/4 inch. That's to shape it a little bit. All right, so I'm going to connect that 3/4 inch before I go ahead to connect it. So I went in by 3/4 inch. I'm also going to go down by 1/2 inch, okay, since I'm going to be needing an allowance to sew. So I went down by 1/2 inch and I went in by 3/4 inch. So I'm just going to go ahead and connect these points up like this, from that 1/2 inch all the way to this point. Can you see what I've just done? Now I'm going to go ahead now, connect these points up to meet up the side right there. Can you see? Now, for me to be able to shape this, I've already shaped this here. So I'm going to go ahead and put that 1/4 of the hip. So 1/4 of the hip, we already have it, and we also have our sewing allowance right there. Okay, so let me see. So I added 1 inch. Okay, so remember, this is the waist, okay? This is the waist. So I'm just going to go, what we have there is about 10.5, 1/4 is okay. So we still have at least 1 inch. So we're going to be like, I'm thinking, yeah, I'll still have 1 inch. Now I'm going to connect this part here to meet up this point, okay? By doing so, I'm going to use my French curve. You can use your free hand, and make sure that when you're connecting this part, it should not be too deep. All right, now that we are done doing so, the next thing I'm going to do is to go ahead, if you want it to be more wider, depending on how big you want it to be, I'm just going to come here and measure up whatever I have here. I'll go ahead, or you can just, if you want it to be a fitting one, but this is not a fitting pan, you can measure your rounding and you divide that by 2. But this mine is not a fitting one. So what I have there is about, let's just say 13.5. I'm going to go ahead and minus at least 2 inch from there. So 13.5. This is 1 and 2. No, 13.5 minus 2 inch. I'll be left with 11.5 inch. So I'm going to come here, I'll mark that 11.5 inch right there. Then I'm going to go ahead and add up 3/4 inch of allowance. Okay, then I'll come on the hem, right? On the hem, I hope people can see the hem up. I'll come on the hem. Let me see if everything is showing. Okay. Okay, so I'll come on the length. What I will do is to come here. Whatever I have from this part to this part, I'm going to mark it up. So this is 11.5 plus 3/4 inch. You can reduce that up here. So 11.5 plus 3/4 inch. So I'm going to be marking 11 inch. Yeah, I'm going to mark, no, let me mark 11.5 here, because we will still be needing that inch of allowance. Okay, we'll still be needing our sewing allowance. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead now, flip this up like this, my French strap. I'm gonna connect this up like this. This pan is a kind of a baggy pan. Okay, so it's not really like a it's not really fitting. It's a kind of a baggy, and I don't want it to be too baggy. I just want it to be a little bit of baggy. So we have that. This is the front that we have right now. The next thing we're going to do is to simply go ahead and cut this up. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut this up. Remember also, I'm going to be separating the side from it. Okay, so remember, I've already added my hemming allowance right there. Remember, it's always advisable for you to go ahead and wash your fabric, which I already did with my cotton. So without cutting the side, I'll just hold it over like this, move that up, pull again a piece, and we're going to be cutting the back. This time around, when I'm folding my fabric, I make sure that what I have folded should be more than the front piece. So like this, it should be 1/4 of my waist plus some extra 3 inches. Don't mind my hair. My hair, I just do it in that funny looking way, like our grandmothers used to do hair. Okay, so just going to go ahead and arrange that up like this and like this. Okay, so I want to make sure that those lines are matching, because if it doesn't match up, by the time you cut it and you start struggling to let them to match them up, which is kind of really big. So I'm going to make sure that I have an allowance at the side as well. This, no, I don't have enough allowance at the side, so I'll make sure that I have an allowance at the side. So what I have there is not good enough. Okay, just so that what I have there is more than enough. So it should be big enough to contain the front and the sewing allowance and the cross extension of the back, you know, because the cross extension of the back is normally really longer and bigger. Normally it's supposed to be bigger than the front. Okay, so I've just folded again and added. So I'm going to make sure that I place those lines up. Everything should be matching up like this. I have at least my inches. I'm going to make sure that I come here. Everything should be the same. All right, I match up the lines and make sure that I have an allowance. I have at least 1.5 inch at the top. So, okay, like that. I have at least 1.5 inch at the top. I have at least, let's see what do I have here. Okay, so as you can see, that's how I'm struggling to mash them up. Okay, Well, I'm struggling, but I will have to match them up. So making sure the lines aligns, it doesn't align, so that by the time you want to sew, nothing is going to be looking funny. Alright, so we have something like this already, and I make sure that my lines are matching up. First of all, what we want to do is to go ahead and extend the front, the crush extension of the front. So what I'm going to do is to extend it up here. Let me just bring it a little bit behind. Okay, I'm going to make sure that I extend it up here by at least 2 inches. It's supposed to be longer than what you have for the front. Then I'm come here like this. I extend 2 inches here. I'm gonna do 1.5 inch here. 1.5 inch. The length is supposed to be the same, okay? 1.5 inch. 1.5 inch. You can do 1 inch here at the hem. Alright, so now here what I'm going to do is to go up. I should have even ironed this thing. To go up by 1.5 inch. So what I'm going to do is just to go ahead and measure up whatever I have there. Okay, whatever I have here is 9, let's just say it's 10.075. So I'm just going to come in. I'll come in by 1 inch from here. I'm going to come in by 1 inch. All right, sorry, maybe it's kind of too far. I'm trying to see if I can shift this a little bit down. Ah, shit, I've moved the fabric. So just go up here by 1.5. First of all, go in by 1 inch, then go up by 1.5. Okay, if you're that if you have a lot of, like, if you're that hippie, you go ahead and go up by 2 inch. For me, I can even do 1 inch is okay. 1 inch for me is okay. So now I'm going to go ahead now and connect, measure whatever I have here, which is 10.5. Let's just say 10.2. No, 10.6. Yeah, I'm going to come here like this. I'll just connect a straight line from here. I'll mark that 10.6 right there. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and just connect this up like this to make up of the crush line. All right, then I'll just go ahead and roll a straight line all the way straight downward. The line is supposed to be the same, don't forget that. Now we will come here, connect from this point to this point. Then what I will do here at this point, this is a straight line right there, a straight line. From there, I'm going to go down by 0.25. That's just to create an ease around there so that it should not be looking funny. So 0.25, I'm going to go ahead. And then this point, I'll be coming out by 1/2 inch. All right, remember this 1/2 inch right there. So I'm just going to go ahead and connect it up like that. Make sure that it's not too, it is looking funny. So I'm just going to go ahead and blend it again. You can use your French craft if you wish. Yeah, as you can see, it's almost the same. So now, okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and just bring this up like this, like that, like that, like that. I added in here. Alright, now it's a cutting time for us. Remember, the front automatically is supposed to be bigger than, I mean, the back is supposed to be bigger than the front, okay? That's why you see us adding some 1 inch, 2 inch, especially here and the rest. In some cases, what people do is they cut the front without allowance. Oh, sorry, I was supposed to connect this to meet up this point. Okay, I did not connect it. So this point here is supposed to go straight all the way to this side. Can you see that? Right. So I'm just going to go ahead and connect and cut, connect and cut. Okay, I'm going to go ahead. You see what I've just done. Now, I'll go ahead and trim this excess that I add here. Okay. Now I will separate this. Okay, like this. So now that I have done cutting this, we are going to be joining it. Now I will not, when I will cut, this is what actually, let me see. This is what I'm going to be using for the waistband. Yeah, let's see. We can use this, but I wanted to use this. If I use this, mean that I'm going to destroy. So I'm going to just use this for the waistband later on. Like I said, it's a baggy pan, so definitely we're going to be adding some pockets to it. And I want my pocket. So I'm just going to go ahead. We're going to see. It's not going to be really like a, so this one I have is smaller enough for my pocket, so I want my pocket to have this, and then maybe the cover is going to be with this. So this here is more than enough, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut. Let's see. Yep. So like that. I'll be needing, let's just say, about 1 inch to hem it. Okay. So this is going to be enough. This here is not really straight. And depending on how big you want your pocket to be. Right? There are a lot of ways you can either make your pocket. The way I'm going to be making this pocket is going to be one of the easiest way. You just go ahead and fold it over like this, and you stitch, and you also fold it over like this and stitch. You're not going to be stressing up. So let me just, I don't know if you should put just the pocket of it, attach the cover. Anyway, I'll just go ahead and put this up. We will be needing it later. Okay, so we have to move this aside for now. Okay, so before I go ahead to do anything, I want to do my iron. All right, like I said, normally I'm supposed to add an interface into my part of my pockets, but there is no interfacing, like easy and simple. Okay, so doesn't look right. So you not even like measure what I use for my pocket. So what I have there is about, it's kind of too big, it's 12 inch. not just top in. What I have there is about 10.075, so it's kind of too big. But I think after we fold, this is the wrong side of it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and fold it over like that for about half an inch inward. It's way too big. Gonna fold and fold like this. So one part of it, we're just gonna go ahead, open it. This part is gonna be the top of the pocket, yeah. The top part of the pocket. So this one we're just simply going to go ahead and just open it up like that and fold it inside. I'm just gonna fold it again like this, even though one side of it we're supposed to do it like that. You'll see what I'll do, how I'm going to do. I'm just folding this, should be for the guide. So this side like that, this is what we're going to be using for later on. So we'll just go ahead and fold it over like this to make our life easier. So I'm going to go ahead and simply do the same thing. I fold a ½ inch or half an inch. Okay. And I'm going to fold again ½ an inch. I will always advise, if you're using anything that has to do with cotton, please go ahead and wash it. I remember sewing something for myself, then when I wore it once, then I watched it, was now small, as if I went and borrowed it from somebody. Anyway, from that day I learned. And when you fold your pockets, you make sure that they're all folded the same. It should be at the same. Okay, you can see the red line is not really down, so it's supposed to be like I want to just check. I'm not measuring it, I'm just going to place it on it like, okay, so it's perfect. Move that to side. Now we are coming to the sewing machine right now. If we're not done, we'll be able to finish this tomorrow, don't worry. If we don't finish it today, we'll be able to finish it tomorrow. Okay, so people from YouTube, please kindly go ahead, support me up by subscribing to my channel. And I mean, if you're already watching my YouTube, follow me and leave me your comment. Anyway, you're watching now, please, you can also support people from YouTube. Please, you can also support me on my Facebook. So as you can see, this is my pieces. are being folded into two. So I'm just going to go ahead, and they are right side facing right side. I did not mention it before. Right side facing right side. Okay, so we need to so since we're going to be having since we're going to be adding up the back here, the side, we'll definitely need to go ahead and pin the side of the pan. Okay, I'll make sure that my lines aligns up. Those lines that I have on it aligns up. Normally the easiest way we always do like this, to pin them up like that. Pin it up like this. I should have ironed these pieces here. I don't have time to be ironed. I wanted to do it the other way, but let's do it up like this. So we'll start by joining the side seams. I mean the crotch, like that, like so. So I'm just gonna stitch from here all the way half an inch to here. I'll also do the same thing here, half inch. All right, half inch. After that, we'll just open it up like that. We will join the side seams of the pant while leaving this inner seam open for now, because we will need to add up that this the okay. So I did not even thread this. I thought I threaded it. I didn't want to be wasting a lot of time. Why you use like that? Okay, when is that more scissors for cutting thread? I don't know where it is, but I'm gonna look for it. Okay guys, so you have this. Let me quickly wash my cheek. So now it's time for us to stitch. Alright, it's time for us to stitch. So it's time for us to stitch. I'm going to go ahead now. I thought I posted this thing, and then I paused it. Unfortunately, I didn't. So I'm just gonna go ahead and stitch like I did mention. Like this. Move your pin before you get closer to your pins. Move them up. Okay, so I'll do the same thing with this side as well. Stitching about 1/2 inch. Okay, now that I am done stitching, where this needle coming from? Now, like I said, this part here, remember that we did leave one part open, so we're just going to go ahead and fold it in the form of a triangle form like this, like that. We're going to fold it over like this. Let's just say you're going to mark 2 inch inwards. You stitch that up like that. Alright, see what I've done? So we'll now flip it like this. It's going to look like something like this. Can you see that? So we have to make sure that we should have the same distance, like the same thing that we have here. This one like this. What I have there is about, yeah, let's just say 1.5 inch. No, let's just say 1.075. So we're also going to do the same thing here. Make sure that we have that 1.075, right, from the end here. 1.07. You can just go ahead and mark that up instead of wasting time. I'm laughing right there, but normally is what I'm supposed to do. 1.075 is right there. So I'm just going to stitch. Okay, we'll grab the other pocket, do the same thing. Where is this side? Like this, 1.075. Did I even check that this thing? I'll just measure 1.075 and connect it up and like this. 1.075. Let me just go ahead and mark this one. I'm also going to do the same thing here, 1.075, and just kind of measure that up, and we're going to do stitching. Okay. We have something like this. We have our pocket like this, so we're gonna just flip it inside. Remember that we already folded about 1/2 inch, so we're gonna struggle that we just fold this 1/2 inch like this, and we'll stitch it to keep it neat. But first of all, let's go ahead now to just fold in. But before we go ahead to do so, we are going to leave that letter on. Now, let me quickly just take this machine open. For now, my thread has fallen. Okay. All right. So so far this is what we did for the pockets. Right, just kind of cut those excess right there, and you have to cut it so it should not be looking funny. See? Now just flip it inside like this. Remember, we did fold it 1/2 inch inwards, and we also fold 1/2 inch inward. We're gonna make sure that we maintain that 1/2 inch that we folded inward here. I'm supposed to be, this one is supposed to come here like this. Yeah, you see? Okay, so we'll keep this aside. Now that we are done stitching the inseam, I mean not really the inseam but this part up right there, you see. All right, I'm going to go ahead and join the side of it. Now place right side, facing right side. Here is where we're going to really have a little bit of difficulty. So because we want to make sure that all these lines up, the lines are matching up, I'll just go ahead each time I want to stitch and make sure that I match up this line. You're supposed to match up this line, and I'll come here like this and make sure that these ones are matching up. That's why I said when we were cutting it that you should make sure that you align the lines up together and you cut it, because if you cut the lines, they are not matching up. By the time you want to sew, it will be a little bit difficult for you to sew. So that's why it's always very important for you to go ahead and match up this thing for now. Yes, okay. So now I'm going to stitch okay. I'll stitch the side seam, but I make sure that everything matches up. Okay, just line up, and I will just stitch about 1 inch. No, let me stitch 1 inch. I'll place up and I make sure I stitch. Same thing to this other side of it. We will join the side of it. Making sure everything, the lines are matching up. Even sometimes you even match the line. By the time you flip it, you start noticing that they're looking funny. So always make sure you match your lines as much as possible. gonna have to open it up and I'll iron it. Okay, we are at least happy that so far so good. There is nothing looking funny right there. The lines, it matches up. We're going to be pressing it flat. Not really flat. This one is kind of off a little bit, but it's not a big deal. You can decide to add 2 pockets if you wish. Just want to press this and kind of locate where we're going to be adding the pockets. Excuse me. This one is up. See that? Something like this one. Yeah, something like that. So you want to choose where you want to add your pockets. Okay, you're gonna choose where you want to add it from. Alright, so first of all, this part here, we have to just fold it inward like that, and we're gonna be stitching. Right? So the other way that I know how to add a pocket, the other way is kind of, so you're just gonna make sure you fold this allowance inside. We'll be placing it up like this. Now stitch. We'll come here. We'll just kind of follow up the stitch. I mean the folding that we fold before. We will stitch right like this. Right. We'll do all the way around. Make sure that we place it right at the center. So you're going to make sure that you fold it over like this. Like this, you mark the center of it, so put a pin. So we'll come, you kind of measure where your knee line is around your knee line. You will add it from the hem. Right, so I want mine to have this decoration, but it's kind of a little bit so too low. So mine is gonna come out. Yeah, so I have about 40. My length is yeah. Okay, yeah. So I'm going to 38 in divided by 2 is going to be around 20. Yeah, so I'm going to locate where my knee line is. I will be putting the pocket right there like this. Okay, so first of all, we need to just go ahead and stitch the top part of it like this. Remember, this part is going to go inside. And like so. We'll stitch. Okay. So, my place. Like I said, I'm going to measure where my knee line is. Remember, from the top, I'm just going to measure at least from the hem. I know that I added 2 inches from the hem. So normally my length is 38. 38 divided by 2. Go ahead and divide it into 2. My length is 38 divided by 2. Whatever I have, I will measure it all the way from the hem like this. So this is where my pocket is going to be going. 19 inch. Bring it and mark that 19 inch right there. Alright, my pocket is going to start from here and go down. Or I'll go up from there, making it 18 inch. So this is precisely where I'm going to be placing up my pocket like this. At the center line, you mark the center of your pocket, so it should match up. Okay, so like this and like so, and we're going to stitch all the way on. And when we stitch, you kind of have this inside. We also do the same thing to the other side, and we mark the 18 inch on the hem. That's excluding first of all, mark 19 inch, which is right there. Then I went up by 1 inch, making it 18. So here like this, I mark the center of it. So we're going to stitch this. Now please, like this. Mark the center. Okay, now we have to I'm going to first of all go ahead and stitch the top part of it. That's to hem this up. This one we're not going to be stitching it because we'll be needing it. We'll just go ahead and fold it over like this, that half in. We'll be stitching that up. Okay, so let me quickly do so. I'm not sure that I'm going to be, I'll finish this tutorial today. I may finish it up tomorrow because we still need to get the sewing. We still need to add the elastic waistband, and the elastic waistband, it needs to get the straps. So we have to stitch the straps. It's already a little bit too late. The idea for me was just to cut the pant today, but I decided to start doing so that by tomorrow I can just finish up. Okay, so I'm going to just top stitch this part up. Yeah, like this. And if your needle is not that big enough or not strong enough, you can easily break your needle. So your needle is supposed to be tiny one. Okay. As you can see, I stitched this top part. This one, we're going to just leave it up like that. We'll stitch it with it. Okay, because if you stitch, oh, let me just go ahead and stitch this up. Yeah, no, yeah, let me stitch this up, so just will be easier for us to work on. Okay, so if I stitch this up here like this, I have to really fold this over like we did here, like this. Guys, you know what, we're gonna finish this one tomorrow. I cannot this time. Yeah, so I'll just have to adjust this like this. Okay, we'll finish it up tomorrow. I need to prepare everything up so tomorrow we'll just come and finish it. Right, so let's wait for tomorrow to come, so we'll finish that up. All right, so we're going to be finishing the sewing tomorrow. All right.